got Gavin, aka Gash Slug, aka Homebrew Network on the TV. He's grown to become a pretty good friend of mine. And we got a setup ready so that we can start cleaning the tube that we're going to transfer with. What I do is I'll hit the very top. I have a keg over here. And then, as you'll see, it starts filling up. I'm running water through here, the first pass, because what I like to do is, especially if I haven't used these, what these are, bouncer filters. These are the big boy bouncer filters. I run water through just to clean up any dust that may be sitting inside or anything like that. Because I don't want dust in my beer. So I'll run a water cycle through and then a sanitizer cycle. And everything goes into here. I just recently thought of the idea in order to keep water. It's always hard cleaning up this wooden table. There's a lot of water. Sometimes I forget and walk away. And then there's some leaking. So the other end, the quick disconnect here, I soak in some water as well, and then cleaner, or sanitizer rather. And that's nice and cold. And it's basically pushing through the keg that's over here. And these, as I mentioned, are the big boy bouncer filters. And what I do, I actually find, I got all of these pieces off of More Beer for the quick disconnects, which are Kegging products, I believe. I like to try to keep everything as uniform as I can, and I find that they really work out well. But these bigger bouncer filters, I don't, I like them, they're fine, but the smaller ones, they actually have a smaller bouncer filter, and I was using those before, and I find that those pick up hop matter. The idea is to filter out any protein, hop matter, or anything that you don't want in your beer. I find that the smaller ones do a little bit better of a job of that. But that's just my own personal preference. So after this, I'm going to run a cycle through into this bucket here. I'm going to dump it, and then we're going to do a cleaner sanitizer cycle. Every now and then I will clean these filters and the lines, but I don't think it's necessary for every single batch. Most of the time what I'll do is on the back end I'll clean them after the beer is transferred and I'm cleaning everything up. Okay, so I'm pretty low on my sanitizer that's in the keg right now. I just unhooked the CO2, and the goal will be to empty the keg of sanitizer and allow the gas to move through it. I'm gonna pop the quick disconnect off of the sanitizer. Unfortunately, when it runs out, it doesn't necessarily mean that these filters that the water or the whatever liquid's in here comes through. I'm going to have to unscrew these and empty them. And then I'm going to run more CO2 through to really try to get as much of the oxygen out when I'm for the transfer as I possibly can. There we go. Try to push through as much as we can. Let the CO2 move through it. I'm going to pop the top on that. There's still some CO2 left in the empty keg that I want to run through. I'm going to pop these off. See, these pop off very easily. Got the sanitizer still in them. Pop them off. Unscrew, I'm screwing them back in now. They're all screwed in. And then I'm gonna take the quick disconnect for the liquid, pop it through again. The air is still going through, and while the CO2 is still pushing through, I'm going to pop the other end to create a seal. Now, in theory, I should be good to go. There should be CO2 in the lines and very little oxygen, hopefully. But now we are ready to keg. Now, what I noticed after I thought I was all set was the filter, both filters, had some like minor kind of gunk stuff up. So what I do in that situation is, there's a concern I don't want to continue with the kegging process until I know for sure that everything's clean. So what I do in that situation is I actually hook up to CO2 directly. So now I'm going to push pure CO2 through instead of the bottom of a keg. So that's kind of the idea now here. So I'm going to push it through and get pure CO2 so that I can be truly as no O2 as I possibly can get. You can probably hear that hissing sound. I'm not going to let it go for too long. Push it through, cap it. Well, I say cap it. For this duotite, that's what they're called, duotites, and I should be good to go now. Pure CO2 through, and we're good to go. And so what I ended up doing was cleaning the filters, or sanitizing them rather, with a sponge that I only use for cleaning my glasses to drink beer out of, so I know it's clean. Now we are good to go.
And action.
What's going on, guys? Nick Lesagore here, Exit 12 Homebrew with my boy
Billy Carpenter in the house.
That's right, and we're here. We're here because today's a very special day. Very special day. It's been a long time coming. The Best Friends Italian Pilsner, which was brewed sometime, I believe, in February, is ready to keg. We may be kegging it a week early, but we're tired of waiting. We're tired of waiting. We are impatient people, especially me being from the Northeast, so I'm ready to go. I'm dying to drink this beer, and so when we keg it, it should be ready to drink because it's been sitting, for me, under pressure for the better part of 11, 12 weeks.
Yep, yours is ready. Mine will be about a week or so to carb up, but yours, I think, is going to be ready to go.
So I'm excited about it. What we're going to do is show our kegging process, but also talk about the beer. If you didn't watch the video, go and take a look. It was a fun video, a really fun brew day with Billy. Quick, just recap, very simple Pilsner malt base. Not going to give away too much there because it is a collab with my boy Billy. But we mashed in at 144 and then we mashed in at 160. And then we did a 10-minute diacetyl rest for a 90-minute mash. We hopped with specifically Saz, strictly Saz, only Saz hops on this throughout the boil, 60, 45, 30, 10. And then with the Citra hop hash, we dry hop this beer. And that's what makes this kind of the Italian Pilsner, the Citra dry hopping. I dry hopped at the tail end of fermentation as we were heading into our conditioning period for 10 to 12 weeks. Billy dry hopped 5 days ago. Same amount of Citra hop hash. So we're really excited about this because hopefully this beer turns out really well. And it's a labor of love. We worked really hard on this and I really need something clean and crisp and nice and just like easy drinking for that 5% range for these as we start to heat up here in Massachusetts. So we wanted to talk, Billy and I, talk through just real quick the concept of do we want to add some gelatin to this? Historically, E12, I've always added gelatin to my beers that needed to be clear. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Also depends on how quickly I drink through the keg. Billy, the first time he used it, the gelatin, was in our experiment for the club over at BrewTubers, www.brewtubers.com, for the, I believe it was a British brown ale experiment that we did. So, Billy, what is our plan now going forward? What do we want to do in terms of adding that gelatin?
I was kind of leaning towards not adding the gelatin, only because I'm not super comfortable with it. I have nothing against it at all, and I do want a super clear beer. So I'm I'm hearing you out on the gelatin argument. I'm just not sure with how I do things. My everything's purged and ready to fill and everything, and I'm always nervous about that oxygen. You know what I mean? And it's just you know I kind of feel like just kegging it, and it's been lagering for, like you said, 10 or 11 weeks. So gravity's kind of helped us out with clarity and stuff, but I hate to not do it and then have it not be crystal clear.
So let's do this. Middle ground. Let's take a sample of each other's beers, hold them up to the light, hold them up to the camera, see where we're at with the clarity piece. And if we don't like it, then maybe we talk further about adding the gelatin. If we do like it, or if we don't like it, but we think it'll clear up further, I'm not sure if that's necessarily going to be the case because it's been 10 to 12 weeks, but Billy is the king of these classic style brews, these lagers and, these really fun beers. Oktoberfest, you're really good at as well. So if we do like it, then screw it. Because to Billy's point, I ferment under pressure. I transfer under pressure. I've been conditioning under pressure. My transfer tubes are ready to go. My transfer setup is under pressure. My serving keg is under pressure. So I understand where Billy's coming from. So let's do this. Let's take a sample. And as we take a sample, Billy, why don't you walk through briefly the concept of why we lagered for as long as we did for people that may not know.
All right. Yeah, I mean, just lagering basically is that time-honored tradition of letting the beer just really settle cold, let the yeast slowly clean the beer up, and it just gets crisp and clear over that time. And with the pressure fermenting, it seems like it's maybe not as necessary as we thought for a long time, because I've had a lot of pressure lagers now that have been really, really good. So I mean, we're almost doing this like more for fun, than necessity at this point. But I mean, I like it. It seems to make a good beer. I still do my Meritzen, traditionally. So now, is it? I mean, I'm not going to argue that it's absolutely necessary. So
I know we've talked about the idea that basically you want to condition for every gravity point. Is that right?
Yeah. I usually do a week per degree Plato.
Okay.
And I don't remember where I got that from. I read it somewhere a long time ago.
Okay. Turn in the camera. I'm going to show mine to my camera real quick. Ooh. Yeah. All right. You have yours ready to go, Billy boy?
Mine could be clearer. It almost looks like there's a little bit of a chill haze to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, buddy. Mine's really clear on my end. There's like ever slightest chill haze.
Yeah, yours looks way clearer.
I love the bubbles.
Yeah, you know what? You know what, buddy? That could be the hopping. That could be that hopping at 5 days before, and me hopping when I did.
That's true.
Oh God, dude, yes. Oh, this thing smells incredible. Oh, Billy. What do you get?
I'm getting a real heavy citrus,
Dude.
kind of lemony. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting real nice citrus. I'm getting more of the citrus peel. I'm getting a really nice like lemongrass character.
Yeah, lemongrass. That's what I was searching for.
And I almost get like a gummy bear thing going on. I get this really, really fun like Haribo gummy bear thing. Oh man.
I'm almost
I
afraid
am
to
getting
say
the-
I'm getting like a little bit of dankness in mine. And I'm wondering if it's because of the hoppage, the recent dry hoppage.
Yeah, I'm not getting that in mine really. I am getting that kind of really kind of biscuity sweetness. Did you take a sip of yours yet?
Not yet.
All right, let's do it, buddy.
Cheers.
L'chaim. Yeah, yours is definitely mine's way clearer than yours. Interesting.
Oh, wow.
What do you think?
Crisp. It is really crisp, really clean. The nose almost tricks you. Like my palate was expecting almost like a pale ale, or a real session IPA or something. And there's none of that.
Sure. Oh man. So I get the bitterness, and this is what I'm finding is like I'm really understanding the difference between bitterness and phenolic, those kind of characters. You're going to be hard pressed to find an Exit 12 beer from now on that is traditionally dry hopped. I don't see with all these other hop products that are stripping the leafy matter and really focusing in on that lupulin. I don't see a need to be dry hopping with pellets and getting that phenolic kind of, overly hoppy, like that really leafy character that you really kind of find. When you're dry hopping and utilizing hop products that are stripping that away, like in this with this hop hash, I'm getting none of those like weird off flavors where like you'd have to have the beer settle for 2 weeks to let those flavors kind of dissipate a little bit. This thing is like good to go now, I mean, from a flavor perspective.
Yeah. And yours probably has a little bit of that carbonic bite too that helps, where mine is just completely still right now.
Yeah. I mean, I will say it's really nicely carbonated. Love seeing the bubbles come up. I could probably stand to see a few more bubbles come up, but that's just a turn of the dial when I keg this thing. This thing's ready to drink now, and I'm absolutely pouring a pint when all is said and done. This thing is fantastic. Now, from a clarity perspective, I'm okay. For me, I'm good with not using the gelatin.
But
Me as well. I'm going to go no gelatin because that's what I normally do, and we'll just see. I mean, that's another comparison too.
all right. We gotta keg this
Let's
thing
keg it.
because I am thirsty. Oh, dude, what an amazing! I'm very, very pleased with this beer. Very pleased. I'll have to get a full one and see how it looks.
Also, not only did I do that recent dry hop, but with my setup too, I kind of like, crane my fermenter up out of my lager chamber. So I may have kicked up a little bit of, sediment and stuff.
So you think there was a little bit of that going on?
Possibly. Yeah, I pulled a sample for the hydrometer and it looks a lot clearer.
Oh, does it? Yeah, then I bet you were kicking some shit up.
I'm about 3 pounds in on my first keg, which I should be putting about 41 pounds of beer in each keg.
Yeah, I'm right around there too. Okay, we've started transferring. what I want to do on this scale is get to right around 41 to 42 pounds for a 5-gallon keg. I don't know if that's going to happen. We will certainly find out. And this is a blow-off to regulate the amount of CO2 coming out instead of just pulling the pin. There we go. Okay, currently at 4 pounds. Moving along. So Billy, did you pressure ferment or no?
No.
Oh, okay. What was the thinking behind that?
I just put it in my traditional lager tank, which isn't set up for
okay.
pressure fermentation.
I didn't know if there was like a methodology behind it that we didn't discuss.
No.
And so as you can see on my setup, it might be a little far away, but I have my 20-pound CO2 tank connected to the vessel, the fermenter, and then it's pushing the beer through the lines into these 2 filters that I super cleaned and then flushed with CO2. And then I have this spunding valve hanging off the end to help help push out that residual CO2 so I continue getting beer in. If I didn't have this on and if I didn't have the pin pulled, beer wouldn't be coming in because it'd be building up with pressure. At 31 pounds, Billy. About to hit 32, buddy.
You ready for a beer yet or what?
Almost. Set this to 68.
I'm gonna go grab me a glass.
How about you?
I'll be
You
right
ready?
back. Yeah, I'm gonna grab a glass. I'll be right back. Oh yeah, you got the Pilsner glass ready to go, don't you? Great
Attaboy.
minds think alike.
The first pour of a new beer, you got to go proper glassware on the people. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Nice. Very, very, very slight chill haze. Let me turn the light over here to the people. Look at that, Billy boy. Look at that boy. All right. Oh man, love it. Nice bubbles popping up from it. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's fresh. It's freshy. That's what I love about it. Really fresh. Really, really, that orange peel like comes through so nicely. Oh my God. And I'll be honest, the first few pulls I took of this when this thing was like conditioning, I thought that the bitterness came through a little too strong. I was telling some buddies in the club that there were changes I wanted to make to it, but it really mellowed out nicely. And that's the one thing I'm excited about, is that it mellowed out real nice. L'chaim, buddy.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for you to start drinking this. When Billy starts drinking this beer, he is going to be as excited as I am, if not more, because this thing is drinking so well. It was a complete labor of love. And it's nice to have a crispy boy on tap and to be able to have something on nice warm days like today here in New England. Oh yeah. Fantastic. This is actually going to be a good experiment, not adding the gelatin, to see if it clears out, to see if it gets a little bit clearer. Very, 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 very slight haze to it. Very slight, but I mean, that thing is very close to crystal clear. So we'll see what happens, Billy. Awesome collab, buddy. Thanks so much for doing this with me. To the master of the lager.
Nicholas.
Bye, buddy.